Hey, welcome back to the channel. Imagine thinking you're just ordinary, that no matter how much you love something, you'll never be great at it. That's exactly how Sam felt. He was a kind-hearted, hard-working boy, but deep down he believed that success was only for those born with special talents. He loved playing the piano, but whenever he watched great musicians perform, he thought, they're different. They have something I don't. I'll never be that good. His parents and teachers tried to encourage him, telling him that with enough practice he could become just as skilled as them. But Sam wasn't convinced. He doubted himself so much that when a grand music competition was announced in his town, he didn't even consider participating. His best friend was excited and urged him, "Sam, you play the piano so well! You should join." But Sam just shook his head. "No," he said, "I'm not talented enough. I could never win." That evening his grandfather noticed something was wrong. "What's troubling you, my child?" he asked gently. Sam sighed. "Grandpa, I love playing the piano, but what's the point? I'm not naturally talented. I'll never be good enough to win anything." His grandfather smiled and said, "Let me tell you a story. There was once a blacksmith named Nelson. He wasn't the strongest nor the fastest, and everyone doubted him when he said he wanted to create the finest sword ever made. "You don't have the skill for that." They laughed, but Nelson didn't listen. Every day he practiced. His first swords were weak, they broke easily, and people mocked him, but he didn't give up. He studied, experimented, and worked tirelessly. Years passed and his skills improved. Then one day the king announced a grand competition to find the best sword maker in the kingdom. Nelson entered, and to everyone's surprise, he won. The king was so impressed that he made him the royal swordsmith. His grandfather looked at him and said, "Nelson wasn't born with talent. He created his own talent through effort and perseverance. You can do the same, Sam." That night Sam lay awake thinking. For the first time he understood. Success isn't about being born talented. It's about effort, persistence, and believing in yourself. The next morning he made a decision. He would practice, no matter how hard it got. He woke up early, spent extra hours on the piano, and worked on his technique. At first he struggled. He made mistakes. Some days he felt like giving up. But he kept going, remembering Nelson's story. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Slowly his fingers moved more fluidly over the piano keys. His melodies became richer. His confidence grew. Then the day of the competition arrived. Backstage, he watched the other participants perform beautifully. But instead of fear, he reminded himself, "I have worked hard. I will do my best." When his turn came, he walked onto the stage, took a deep breath, and played with everything he had. His fingers danced across the keys, filling the room with the most beautiful melody he had ever created. When he finished, there was a moment of silence. Then the audience erupted in applause. He had done it. When the results were announced, he won second place. But more importantly, he had won something even greater: self-belief. He had proved to himself that talent isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. From that day on, he never doubted himself again. He kept practicing, improving, and achieving even greater success. He had learned the most important lesson. Talent is not a gift. It's a result of effort and persistence. If you work for it, if you believe in yourself, you can achieve anything.